What I would say to them is to go home. They still have the opportunity to self-deport, to go back to their country. Right now, we're buying plane tickets for people to go back to their home countries. And also when they land, we give them $1,000. And then they get the opportunity to come back the right way. That is still the very best option for everybody who's in this country illegally. And that would be my hope, is what they would do.
That, of course, was Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem at Nashville International Airport. She was there to promote what she calls a self-deportation plan, offering migrants $1,000 cash and a one-way ticket out of the country. That money, of course, is paid by you, the taxpayer. Unsurprisingly, her visit sparked immediate backlash. Tennessee State Representative Justin Jones, part of the Tennessee Three, who made national headlines for protesting gun violence on the state's House floor, was barred from entering the event. It's important to note that Nashville International Airport is part of his district in his state. He says he came to demand answers for his constituents after ICE arrested hundreds of people from his district earlier this summer, whose names have not yet been fully released.
Every other event we've had here in the airport, we've been allowed as representatives. This is the first time I'm being told as a House representative that I'm not allowed to attend an event. I'm here simply to support veterans, and also because I want to get answers from my constituents who've been harassed and who've been brutalized by ICE here in Nashville. I just want to know from the Secretary, where are the people of my district?
Jones said he received prior approval from airport officials to attend the press conference, but DHS Communications Manager Thomas Wackman said that was a mistake. Tennessee State Representative Justin Jones joins us now. Representative, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I want to start right there. You talked about what you were hoping to talk with the Secretary about, these people that live in your district that have been snatched up and possibly not heard from again. Do you have any update from any kind of communication with the DHS Secretary or her team?
Well, good morning. It's great to be with you all. Unfortunately, on Thursday, Secretary Noem came to my district, House District 52. The Nashville International Airport is in that district, and chose to do what she does best: waste taxpayer money with this stunt, this spectacle, this photo op. Instead of being a serious secretary willing to engage in bipartisanship and answer questions. In the beginning of May, 196 members of my community were snatched by masked ICE agents in the dark of night during racial profiling traffic stops in a joint operation with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. A majority of those people, DHS has admitted, were convicted of no crime, charged with no crime, had no criminal record, but yet they want to paint everyone as being criminal, when what is criminal is this violation of equal protection under law. What is criminal is racial profiling. What is criminal are these constitutional attacks that are targeting communities of color, as my district is the most diverse district in the state of Tennessee, and that's where the majority of these raids and arrests and mass harassment of traffic stops occurred. And she refused to answer, as she does best. Instead, she chose, her press secretary, her communications director, chose to have me removed preemptively, even though the Secret Service, the Metro Police for the airport, and the airport authority staff allowed me into the press conference, as I usually come to events in my district, including in the airport.
Representative Jones, it's good to see you again. You're not the only one who has been asking questions about people who have been arrested by ICE in Nashville, and no information coming out about most of them. A reporter tried to ask the Secretary a question along the lines of what you just pointed out. Let's watch that, and I'll ask you about it on the other side.
The Trump administration has specifically targeted the worst of the worst. The individuals that we are going after are those that are violent criminals, those that are breaking our laws, and those that have final removal orders.
My audience is predominantly Latinos, so they kind of every day say they're fearful because a lot of people have been targeted based on their skin color, not necessarily.
That is not true. And so that has been another false narrative that has been put out there in the media that I absolutely want to throw back at you and say that is absolutely false, and don't you dare ever say that again.
So, Representative Jones, the reporter said, our viewers are mainly Latino, and this is what we're hearing on the ground. This isn't some made-up narrative. This is the lived experience of people in your district.
I mean, that's exactly right. But I think one of the most asinine things she told the reporter, she said, "Don't you dare say that again." I mean, think about the audacity, think about the arrogance, the hubris to tell a reporter not to do their job and ask questions. I mean, this is a reporter who works for one of our Latino news stations here and who has been on the ground talking to families who've been terrorized, people who are coming back from an overnight shift, their partners snatched by these mass ICE agents, a mom snatched by these ICE agents. These are not criminals. These are members of our community, people who are part of our district and of our Nashville, diversity and way of life. We represent, again, the most diverse district in the state of Tennessee, and that's what makes us a great place to live. But Kristi Noem comes here trafficking in the politics of fear and division, trafficking in the politics of racial profiling and harassment, because that's all she knows. When we live in a country where we welcome white refugees from South Africa, yet demonize brown people as being an invasion from the border, that tells you that this is about a politics that is no stranger to my state, a state in which the KKK was founded. And now we have another mass group coming out, some of whom we don't even know if they're ICE, because even to a lawmaker like myself, they've refused to identify themselves, refused to show badges. When I went out doing my oversight capacity in my district saying, "Sir, do you have a badge or anything?" as you're making these traffic stops and telling people to open their trunk, they shined a flashlight in my face and sped off and refused to even answer questions or be recorded. That's not what I think of law enforcement. And law enforcement should be able to identify themselves, show a badge, let us know that our people are not being kidnapped and trafficked, because now we still have yet to get answers from where they ended up. And the reason I went to the Secretary's press conference is because at the state level where I serve, they told us, the Commissioner of Safety for our state said, "We don't know. We gave them over to ICE, and now we don't know what happens to them. So you have to go ask the federal government." And that's what I tried to do on Thursday. And instead, I was preemptively told that I would be arrested as a lawmaker for trying to ask questions of a appointed government official who's supposed to be somebody who serves in a bipartisan role and serve all people of this nation because they're being paid for by taxpayers.
As we've seen, this administration is not afraid to arrest lawmakers. So we're glad that you're safe there. The Tennessean wrote a story on July 17th. ICE has released names of just 9 of 544 migrants arrested in Nashville.
In a controversial move that has ignited fierce debate, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem unveiled a self-deportation plan at Nashville International Airport, offering migrants $1,000 and a one-way ticket to leave the United States. The initiative, funded by taxpayer dollars, aims to encourage undocumented immigrants to return to their home countries voluntarily, with Noem asserting it's the best option for those in the U.S. illegally. She emphasized that participants could later apply to re-enter the country legally. The announcement, however, was met with immediate backlash, drawing criticism for its approach and sparking accusations of racial profiling and constitutional violations. The event took a dramatic turn as Tennessee State Representative Justin Jones, whose district includes the airport, was barred from attending the press conference. Jones, a prominent figure known for his role in the Tennessee 3 gun violence protests, arrived seeking answers for his constituents following Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, operations that arrested 196 individuals in his community earlier this summer. He described the arrests as part of a joint operation with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, involving masked ICE agents, conducting what he called racially profiled traffic stops. According to Jones, the majority of those detained had no criminal records, yet DHS has provided limited transparency, releasing the names of only 9 out of 544 migrants arrested in Nashville since May 2nd. Jones expressed frustration over being denied entry to the event, despite prior approval from airport authorities. DHS Communications Manager Thomas Jackman called the approval a mistake, escalating tensions. Jones accused Noem of staging a photo op and wasting taxpayer money rather than engaging in bipartisan dialogue to address community concerns. He highlighted the fear gripping his district, the most diverse in Tennessee, where families are desperate for information about loved ones detained by ICE. People are terrified, Jones said, noting that some fear their relatives have been sent to what he described as crocodile concentration camps, extrajudicial detention facilities lacking due process. The press conference also saw a heated exchange when a reporter from a Latino news outlet questioned Noem about fears of racial profiling among Nashville's Latino community. Noem dismissed the concerns as a false narrative, sharply rebuking the reporter with, "Don't you dare say that again." Jones condemned her response as arrogant, arguing it dismissed the lived experiences of his constituents, many of whom have reported harassment and terror from ICE operations. He cited instances of individuals being snatched after overnight shifts, leaving families without answers about their whereabouts. Critics, including Jones, argue that the administration's focus on deportations and its portrayal of migrants as criminals unfairly targets communities of color. He pointed to a broader pattern of selective enforcement, noting that while white refugees are often welcomed, brown and black immigrants face demonization. Jones also raised concerns about unidentified agents conducting stops without showing badges, describing an encounter where an agent shined a flashlight in his face and sped off when questioned. The lack of transparency from DHS has fueled public outcry. Of the 544 migrants arrested in Nashville, ICE has released limited details on only 15, with just 9 names disclosed. Jones and affected families continue to demand accountability, with some fearing that detainees have been deported or sent to undisclosed locations. Noem's plan, coupled with her refusal to engage with critics like Jones, has intensified calls for reform and greater oversight of ICE operations. As the debate over immigration policy escalates, Nashville remains a flashpoint, with communities grappling with fear and uncertainty. Jones vowed to continue pressing for answers, emphasizing that taxpayers and residents deserve better from their government. The controversy underscores deep divisions over immigration enforcement and the human toll of policies that prioritize deportation over dialogue.